Why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet. Cause we know where we at, we know we top tier. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops here. I'm taking off like a rocketeer and stopping here. It's
Music
strange,
licensing reimagined.
We gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise, yeah, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas. When the whole team win, that's when you flex. Win, and I'ma do it again. Watch me win, then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself. I ain't taking no loss. I ain't taking no loss. Look, I'ma always win. I ain't taking no loss. Look, I'ma always win. We already know that we the coldest. Watch me heat it up, let me focus. I'm going toe to toe with foes. I know they notice. I kick in doors, they only hope for closing. Why? Cause they know I go again. And when they get it dry, I'm the one that can make it flow again. Talk to me nice, my team they ready to go again.
Music licensing reimagined.
We don't talk, better know the grind gon' match my walk. I'm a cheat code, I don't take no loss. Making no sense, run up the scope. Cause all I do is win, and I'ma do it again. Watch me win, then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself. I ain't taking no loss. I ain't taking no loss. Look,
Artlist
I'ma always
IO.
win. I ain't taking no loss. Look, I'ma always win. I'm winning again and again and again, and it's all on repeat. I'ma just sit at the top 'cause I'm running it, dog. On me, I don't know defeat. Had to get back on the phone. I told them don't play with my name 'cause I know that it rings. They want my spot at the top with the crown and
Music licensing reimagined.
I'ma always win.
Good evening. Welcome in from the Channel 9 studios. This is Sports Chat with Mr. 33. I am Mr. 33. And as this game just ended, let's go right back to the game. So, tonight we had the Atlanta Falcons going cross country to play the San Francisco 49ers at home. And in a very interesting game, we had the San Francisco 49ers winning the game 20-10. This was about hi Maya. We had going into this game, we had a running back situation as far as the two running backs, two of the best running backs in the NFL. The Falcons, Bijan Robinson, and the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey. And this game was totally going to Christian McCaffrey as he had 24 carries for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also caught the ball and led the 49ers in receptions with 7 receptions for 72 yards. Mac Jones starting for the injured Brock Purdy, 17 of 26, 152 yards, 1 pick. And for the Falcons, we have Michael Penix Jr., who was 21 of 38, 241 yards, 1 touchdown. He did okay, but the running back Bijan Robinson, he only had 14 carries for 40 yards, and Kyle Pitts led the receivers with 7 receptions. So with this win, we see the 49ers go to 5-2, and the Falcons go to 3-3, which puts the 49ers tied for first place. That's because in London this morning, there was a game, and the game was the Los Angeles Rams versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Rams was front running from beginning to end as they won the game 35-7. We had it wasn't really as good as you think it was as we look at the stats. You got Matthew Stafford. He was 21 of 33, 182 yards, but he did have 5 touchdowns. Three of them went to Devontae Adams, who had a touchdown pass from 2 yards and 2 passes from 1 yard. But he did lead the team in catches with 5 catches with 35 yards. Just a bad game for the Jaguars all out, as Trevor Lawrence was 23 of 48, 296 yards. The only bright spot they had today was that Travis Hunter, the rookie sensation and the Heisman Trophy winner, had a 100 yard, his first 100 yard game, his first touchdown, as he led the receivers with 8 catches for 101 yards. So that was the lone bright spot. So with this win, the Rams automatically go to 5-2. The Jaguars fall to 4-3. So there is a tie in the NFC West as we go forward. Jay Watts, what's going on? Other scores in the NFL, we had we had the Indianapolis Colts, the new and improved Indianapolis Colts, as they came through today and they played the Los Angeles Chargers, and the final score was 38-24. Good game for Matt Jones. Excuse me, Daniel Jones. I said Mac Jones. Daniel Jones, as he was 23 of 34 for 288 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, as always, lead the ground attack for the Colts. 16 carries for 94 yards, 3 touchdowns. And we had Alec Pierce leading the team in yardage with 98, but Michael Pittman has 7 catches with a touchdown. And for the Chargers, who lost the game today, we had Justin Herbert, who was 37 of 55. 55 pass attempts is a lot. 420 yards, 3 touchdowns, but the 2 picks cost them. We had Rondé Gaston leading the team with 164 yards, but Keenan Allen had 11 catches. So, and there was no run in the game to speak of, as Justin Herbert had 31 yards, leads the team in rushing. So you have that situation, and now the Chargers is what are they record? 4-2? No, they 5-2. No, they ain't 5-2. They are 4-3, and the Indianapolis Colts is still winning football games, which is amazing to me because Daniel Jones, we know his story coming from the Giants. They felt like he was a bust, but now he's over here doing what he needs to do to win. So it's a good win for them. Speaking of those New York Giants, they was in Denver, and they was in Mile High, the old Mile High Stadium. And let me tell you, they got high they got high blood pressure because they went up against the Broncos. So as they went up, Realist, what's going on with you? As they went against the Giants, this game was a whole game, right? As you see, the score is 33-32. But what was synonymous about this game was that the Giants was leading this game in the fourth quarter, 19-0. They was up 19-0. And after that 19-0, the Broncos scored all their points in the third quarter. The fourth quarter. They was down 28. What was it? 28-6? 28-6 in the fourth quarter with about 5 minutes to go. Then the Broncos went on a crazy scoring spree to end up. The Giants did score at the end, but they left too much time for the Denver offense, and they drove down and kicked the field goal with no time on the clock. This game was very interesting to say the least. So let's just go ahead and look at the stats. We had Jackson Dart, who was 15 of 33 for 283 yards, 3 touchdowns. That interception right there, it kept the Broncos in the game, and that got them to a 26-23 deficit in the fourth quarter. Scatterboo was okay. He had 16 carries for 60 yards, and Wandale Robinson was leading the team with 6 catches. But on the Broncos side, but look at the stats, what I'm about to show you. Bo Nix threw the ball 50 times, 27 completions, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Cortland Sutton, team tied with 6 receptions, but he had 87 yards. And like I said, this game was a fourth quarter sensation. And when they kicked that field goal, it allowed the Broncos to gain the victory. Not only did they gain a victory, they gained first place in all reality, because now they are 5-2, and the New York Giants is 2-5. So as we look at the next score, the other surprising team this season is the New England Patriots, who is leading the AFC East. If you watch football, if you've been watching football the past few years, especially after Tom Brady left, you would never think that you would hear yourself say the New England Patriots is leading the AFC East, especially the way Buffalo has been playing. But they won this game in convincing fashion as Mike Vrabel went to his old team, who he was coaching, the Tennessee Titans, and just took them straight out 31-13. This is, nothing to really think about or comment about. Drake May is playing some very good football. As you can see, he's 21 of 23. 21 of 23. His QBR is perfect for 222 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ramondre Stevenson has had 88 rushing yards with 18 carries. Stephon Diggs had 7 receptions for 69 yards. The Titans did come out swinging as they was leading this game. 10-3. Cam Ward he was okay. He has 25 of 34, 255 yards, a touchdown and a pick, but there's no running game to speak of. Tony Pollard had 6 carries. They only ran the ball 12 times, and they have 39 rushing yards. And Shamir Dyke was the receiving yards leader, but Tony Pollard was the reception leader with 6 receptions for 43 yards. So with this win, New England goes to 5-2, and they have a full game advantage in the AFC East as the Buffalo Bills are on a bye. So, they have a full game lead. The Titans is 1-6. And the other game that we need to talk about is the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles. There were so many questions of what's going on in Philly and what's going. They lost 2 in a row and this, that, and third. But today they went down to Minnesota and they did what they needed to do. They come out of Minnesota with a victory, 28-22. Jalen Hurts had a very good passing game. He was 19 of 23 for 326 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's crazy because he only had 4 incompletions, but he had just as many touchdowns, 3. So that was an outstanding game. He's beyond perfect. 173 quarterback rating. It's another quiet day for Saquon. But when you look at these wide receiver numbers, you got Devontae Smith with 9 receptions for 183 yards. That's his career high. And he had a touchdown. And A.J. Brown only had 4 catches, but he had 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. So if you look at that real quick, that's 304 yards. And Jalen Hurts only threw for 326. So y'all see what that means. That means the rest of the team only had 22 receiving yards. Carson Wentz playing against his former team, he had 300 yards, but you would have never known it because he was 26 of 42 for 313 yards, two interceptions. Jordan Mason had a quiet game, 15 carries for 57 yards, but Jordan Addison had a great game. Justin Jefferson had a very quiet game, but Jordan Addison was 9 receptions for 128 yards. No touchdowns, but he was making a lot of noise to keep this game close. But it wasn't enough as the Eagles do gain the victory. And with that victory, they remain in first place in the AFC East with their 5-2 record. So now we go to the NFC North and we look at the Green Bay Packers, who was out west to play the Arizona Cardinals. And this game was kind of scary because the Packers was winning this game kind of easily, but the Cardinals tried to come back in the last second ditch, but they fell short, losing 27-23. Jordan Love had a very quiet day, being 19-29, 179 yards, 1 touchdown. Josh Jacobs had a quiet game, 13 carries for 55 yards. And looks like Romeo Doubs was the leading receiver with 6 receptions, 72 yards. Jacoby Brissett starting for the injured Kyler Murray today. He was 25 of 36 for 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. Trey McBride led all receivers with 74 yards with 10 receptions, and a quiet backfield with Bam Knight being 14 carries for 57 yards. So with this win, like I said, the Packers go to 4-1-1. That tie is so instrumental, and it keeps them in first place behind the Detroit. Well, in front of the Detroit Lions, who plays tomorrow against the NFC South leading Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That game is tomorrow. That'll be at 7:00, as there will be 2 Monday night games tomorrow. So if we go to the NFL standings, we see that the Patriots is still up top. The Steelers, who lost Thursday to the Cincinnati Bengals, are still atop of the AFC North. You see the Indianapolis Colts is still 6-1 and heading their division. The Broncos, with their come from behind victory, is a game up on the Los Angeles Chargers. But as you see, that third place team, the Kansas City Chiefs, who routed the Las Vegas Raiders today 31-0, they are right back in the thick of things. They're a game back from first place in the Broncos. In the NFC, we see the Eagles still with a 2.5 game lead, as they're 5-2. The Cowboys are still in the thick of things. The Commanders lost today to the Cowboys, and it was a rout, 44-22 in that game. Jaden Daniels pulled his hamstring, and he was taken out the game. We'll find out some more information tomorrow. We will have an update for you tomorrow as well. And the Giants, with that very tough loss, they fall to 2-5. The Packers, like us, is 4-1-1. As you can see, Detroit is 4-2. Chicago Bears playing some very good football. They did defeat the Saints today to get to 4-2, and that Minnesota loss to the Eagles, that puts them at 3-3. Like I said, in the South, the Bucks is 5-1. We'll see tomorrow if they go up to 6-1 or go to 5-2. The Falcons are now 3-3. The Panthers with a 13-6 win versus the New York Jets. They above 500 for the first time in a while. And the Saints, as they lost to the Bears, moved down to 1-6. And in the West, we got the Niners, that's 5-2. The Rams that are 4-2, but they got the tiebreaker because they beat San Francisco. And tomorrow night is the second game. The Seattle Seahawks will be hosting the Houston Texans in Seattle at 10 o'clock. And if Seattle wins, there will be a three-way tie in the NFC West. So as you can see, we are going through a lot of games. We are doing, it's very close, and we're still early in the season as we are heading to almost the halfway part to the season. It's just so much going on. I didn't even put the stats up there for you guys. My apologies. But here are the stats for the NFL standings after tonight's games. There will be two games tomorrow, like I said. As I slowly pace through, you see the Bucks is up there. The Packers is still in first place with that tie. That tie is going to mean so much at the end of the season for them, and as it looks like for the Dallas Cowboys, who are 3-1, and they're a half a game ahead of the Washington Commanders, but game and a half behind. And as you see, the West, the AFC West, the Kansas City Chiefs are right behind the Denver Broncos, but they're tied with the Chargers. And you see the Chiefs. You see the Chargers division record is still 3-0. They haven't lost to nobody in the division yet. You see the Colts. They're playing some outstanding football with their 6-1 record. And we see the Packers is playing some decent football, but as you can see, Joe Burrow being out has hampered the Cincinnati Bengals. Even though Joe Flacco did go crazy Thursday night and threw for 342 yards, and look at this, how many people would have thought the Browns would have a better record than the Baltimore Ravens? As the Cleveland Browns did defeat the Miami Dolphins very handily, which dropped them to 1-6. The Jets, oh my God, my guys, they still haven't won a game. New England is 5-2, and Buffalo is a game behind. Like I said, they have a bye week, so they won't. We'll see what happens next week. So, going forward, we have those two games tomorrow. We have those two games tomorrow. And like I said, those are instrumental for Seattle to be tied with the Rams and 49ers. And the Lions are trying to stay atop of it, at least in arm's length of their division. And Tampa Bay is convincingly winning their division. So those are the four games. Those are the two games tomorrow. As we head forward to Monday night, as far as other sports action and Game 7, there will be a Game 7 in the Major League Baseball ALCS as the Toronto Blue Jays win their game 8-2. Game 7 will be tomorrow, 8 o'clock. The winner of that game will be facing the Los Angeles Dodgers, who swept the Milwaukee Brewers 4-0. And that World Series will start Friday, I believe. So we saw, I don't know if everybody was watching AEW wrestling, but there was an old school sighting last night as Sting made an appearance in a Jon Moxley match. And Sting hasn't been in a ring in a few years, but he made an appearance, choked out Jon Moxley, and turned around and handed the bat to his opponent. And of course, the opponent did what he needed to do to try to take out Jon Moxley, but it wasn't enough. He won the match and he kept pushing. So for those of you that is new here on this channel, we talk about all sports and entertainment, whether it's WWE. We do talk about AEW from time to time. We definitely talk about football, as you just noticed. We just spoke about the entire game, Sunday schedule. We talk about baseball. We talk about basketball, which is coming up in 2 days. We may do a little preview tomorrow night about what to look forward to as the Oklahoma City Thunder begins their to defend their championship Tuesday night as they raise their banner. And of course, like I said, all sports and situations is what we talk about on a daily basis, or anytime that this thing comes up, or this channel comes up, or this live comes up, as I said, excuse me. So we will be talking about any and all sports. We have spoken about tennis before. We have spoken about uh, you know certain like golf events, the Masters, U.S. Open, things like that. We speak about it all. We also do things like weekly football picks. Uh, we put a list out of the games of the week, and whoever wants to participate, they participate by putting the teams that they think is going to win throughout the week. They and then we place it on the sheet, and then we put it out there for display. Uh, as of right now, there's me and my co-host, my 33 brother. We're head to head right now. Uh, we'll wait for tomorrow night. If Who did he pick? If the Texans win, we will be tied. If the Seahawks win, I will win this week's picks. So if you want to find out who wins tomorrow, you stay tuned. We will be back on at 11:30 after we speak about the WWE Monday Night Raw, and we'll talk about those two games as well. And like I just said, we will also speak about what happened uh, in those two games. As a matter of fact, that game may still be going on, and if it's interesting, if it's a very close game, I will pick up where it's at and call the game myself. I will deliver the game to the channel and do the play by play myself. Just to show that I I follow the sport and I can do it in a very good fashion. That's if the game is close. If not, we will just go straight to the conversations of what happened in the first game. We'll pull up the stats. We'll talk about what does that mean for the winner and the losers, and then we'll go straight into our NBA conversation because there's a lot to talk about. In game one of the NBA season, like I just stated, will be Tuesday night. So we have a lot of things that we will be talking about tomorrow night. Um, you know, uh, so we like I said, I'm getting excited. I'm getting pumped up. I'm expecting a lot of people to come through so we can have these conversations because we all know a lot of people love the NBA. They love basketball in general, but when it's the NBA, they want to talk about who's going to do what. Is SGA going to repeat? Is Anthony Edwards going to take his next step? LeBron James, who's injured to start this season, how far will they go? Him and Luca. What will the Dallas Mavericks do with Cooper Flag, the number one draft pick? He's teaming up with Anthony Davis, and things. They're missing Kyrie, so how will that fare off? And there was a lot of moving and shaking in the Eastern Conference. The Boston Celtics, they lost Tatum last year. They got rid of a couple of their champions, Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Al Horford. What does that mean? Does that mean that the Cleveland Cavaliers will pick up where they left off last year? Will the New York Knicks step up and be a favorite? We see that the Pacers got rid of Scorp. How you doing? Yes, they did win, Scorp, and they won in convincing fashion. The Cowboys could keep their head up, and they put themselves right back into the division. So big win for the Cowboys. Um, Evan Turner left the Pacers, and what's his name? Tyrese Halliburton is injured. So how will that hinder them? Will Giannis, with the trade of Damian Lillard, how will that help them? Miles Turner. Excuse me, I said Evan Turner. Miles Turner joining up with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Will that help the Bucks get to a favorable place? Who will be the shocking team? The team that we're looking at, to be a surprise team? Will it be the Philadelphia 76ers, who's injury prone? Oh, I forgot to mention Orlando. They did pretty good last year. Will they step up and do something? Will the Hawks be the team that we'll be talking about? So we have a lot to talk about as far as the NBA, especially the Eastern Conference. The Western Conference is not open. It's not as open as we think it is, because you still got the the Nuggets. Anytime you got Joker there, I do not like Prescott. He's too damn pretty to run. Well, Scorp, you have to remember when he tore his ACL, when he tore his knee up against the Giants a couple years ago, that injury, he may have healed from the injury physically, but a lot of the injuries that happen to the professional athletes and anybody is more mental. It's just as mental as it is physical. You're scared you're going to make the wrong twist or the wrong turn or the wrong adjustment, and then, you fear that you're going to injure yourself. As we see Aaron Rodgers, he injured himself 2 years ago. Now he's starting to look like he's the Aaron Rodgers of old, scrambling out the pocket, and he's 41. Dak is in his 30s. So it takes these guys at least 2 years to get over those type of gruesome injuries, whether it's a knee, an ACL, or anything like that. But he had one great game today. He kept his wide receivers. His wide receivers was very happy. You see, CeeDee Lamb was very happy today. George Pickens was part of the situation. And, they took the Commanders right out. They took them out early. And once they get out, I can't stand you, Score. You was on injury reserve. You was on IR, Score. You got to get your compensation back, because they ain't take care of your injury. But as far as the Cowboys, when you go through those type of situations, uh, when you go through those type of injuries, rather, like CeeDee Lamb is just coming back. He had an ankle sprain, and he was gone for like a month. And this is what I'm saying. They have to protect themselves from situations and injuries and stuff like that. And when they do, they're going to be very cautious. They're going to make sure that the injury heals. Now you got some guys that'll come back, and they want to play, to be a part of the team. If they think they can contribute, they're going to want to heal faster than they're supposed to, right? So you have those type of situations. But Dak Prescott, when he's healthy, the Cowboys do actually play some good football. Now this year is something different, because the defense hasn't been. She said my brain got injured. She said my brain got injured. Um, when you go through situations like that, like I said, it takes a toll. So like what's his name, Joe Burrow of the 49ers, of the Cincinnati Bengals, he's gonna be out the rest of the season. He tore his, I forgot what he tore, but he did something to hurt himself. And now because of that, we gotta wait to see if he's gonna even be the same person that he was next year when he comes back from the injury, even though that's about a good 18 months after the fact. You got to see if he's going to be comfortable moving around with his injured, I think it's a toe or something like that. Don't quote me on the exact injury, but when you go through those type of situations, you have to be comfortable planting and, you know, stepping into your throws and things like that. Lamar Jackson, he's been injured for the past couple of weeks, so a hamstring. They ain't even play him. I think he has a bye. I think his bye was this week. Yeah, the bye was this week. So now they're going to see if he's going to be ready to play. Brock Purdy for the 49ers. He got toe problems. He, even though the team is winning, but it's amazing what winning does, right? So when your team is winning, you want to sit your quarterback out the more, because the backup quarterback, in this case, Mac Jones, he's doing everything that he needs to do to keep his team afloat. And now they're 5-2, and they're tied for first place. So they're letting Brock Purdy get himself together. He don't have to rush back. They feel like they got a complimentary backup quarterback that's keeping the flow going. Tonight, you know, he did pretty good, but when you got a running back that's running for 129 yards, almost 6 yards a carry, a 5 year, yeah, almost 6 yards a carry, you be ready to do. You can control the ball. You keep your offense. You can keep their defense at bay and keep your defense fresh when it's time to go out there and play football. So but it's all about how you recover from the injuries. And a lot of these guys, they want to be fresh and ready to go, especially when it's those major injuries. A torn meniscus in the knee, rotator cuff surgeries, things like that. Those are what the quarterbacks need to heal from. A lot of them, right? If a quarterback has a rotator cuff, it's going to take him longer, especially if it's the quarterback's throwing on. So you have to make sure that you do the thing. No, I didn't even see it. Which video is it, Scorp? I was trying to find that video yesterday, and I didn't even find it. So you gotta send me. You gotta tell me what's the name of the video. I'm gonna check it out and like and share it. Look at the enemy on. So but yeah, it was a lot of good football tonight. Like we just saw the Broncos Giant game. I'm telling you, it was so amazing to see how many points they gained back in the last 5 minutes. They had to score. What was it? They had 8, so they scored 25 points in 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Interception here. They got the ball. They made them punt. They scored off of every punt. They scored off the interception. It was a great game, right? There was a lot of blowouts. The game of the week, the Cowboy versus Commanders. They took them out early. They made them irrelevant. They made the Commanders relevant. And now here's another injury. Jaden Daniels is injured in that game. Let's see how, and he just came back from a knee injury a couple of weeks ago. So now he got a hamstring and a knee problem. Now he better be careful because you don't want to speak anything into existence. But most people that's been around sports, observed it, played it, whatever have you, they know if you get out there too early with a hamstring, you try to compensate that hamstring. Like I said, I don't want to speak this into existence, but 9 times out of 10, the next injury could be even worse. It could be a torn ACL on that same leg. You know what I mean? Because you try to compensate, keep your hamstring good. You try to do things light, but you still tugging at your ACL. Anybody that know what an ACL is, they know it's very easily could snap and break, and you can be out of commission for a while. So those are the things that you have to look for as far as you know gaining, getting yourself together. As much as we miss people, right, in football, as much as we want LeBron James to play in basketball, as much as we want Kyrie Irving to play basketball, they have to adjust themselves. They have to be ready to play. They have to be in shape. But do we understand that there's no better shape, there's no better game shape than actually playing in the games? I ran to a whole row. How you run into the vendors, Scorp? I need to see this video. I need because first of all, are you okay? Because if you doing all this, you trying out for the Cowboy? You running into vendors and stuff? What's going on here? Was you trying to make a tackle? Were you trying to save something? What's going on with you? Are you okay? That's the first question that we're gonna ask, right? Because the story that I'm reading the chat, and I'm just trying to make sure you good. You good people. You've been rocking with me for the longest for a while now. So I need to know if you're okay. But yeah, you got all of these injuries happening. Joel Embiid, Kawhi Leonard, even though he's going through what he's going through over there. Oh, you ran the festival. I thought you said you ran you ran through a whole roll of vendors. Oh, okay. I got you now. Kawhi Leonard going through that situation, but he played a limited amount of games because of injury. Paul George with the 76ers, Tyrese Maxey with there's a lot of people that's coming back starting a new year off of injury in the NBA. Now they have to be ready and adjusted to go out there and play uh, a full NBA season. Are they adjusted? We don't know. That's why they finished their preseason up. I I think yesterday to get ready for Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, Wednesday's gonna be a few games. Thursday's gonna be so pretty much everybody's starting this week in the NBA. There's one game. There's two games. Tuesday as the Thunder is going to represent. They pull up their banner, and I think the Lakers are playing. Are they playing Golden State? I don't know. I gotta look at the stats. I gotta look at the updated schedule. So but now it's go time for these guys, and let's hope LeBron James. He's out for because he having his sciatic nerve is acting up, and doing that for 23 years, and we know that Father Time is has never been defeated, and he don't get injured like that. Now you start to worry if he's going to be able to get through a whole year with a sciatic nerve. Because if you know what a sciatic nerve is, that thing is triggering. It hurts. So you have to be attentive and careful with that. That's not nothing to really play with, you know. Like for Scorp, I am so happy that you did what you needed to do. You know, that's why we always have to be confident in the things that we do. We have to know that we're gonna go out there and be number one. We're gonna go out there and put our best foot forward, and we're gonna gain the victory out of it. This is like that's why in sports, it's nothing wrong with being confident. It's just the fact that you got to go out there and back it up. Just like your Cowboys, they was confident today, and they went out there and showed that they belong with those guys. Yeah, that's the Bible does say the last shall be first and the first shall be last. So but when we pertaining that putting that into the sports aspect, you know what I mean. You know, we say any given Sunday, a certain team could come out and win a game. You know what I mean? Like we saw the Cleveland Browns win today, but that just goes to show you how distort the Miami Dolphins are. They won 31-6. The Browns beat the Dolphins 31-6. Tyreek Hill, he got injured. He won't be back this year. Fred Warner tore his knee up last week. You know, you ain't score up the best thing to do. You ain't gotta talk to them if they felt that way. You just do what you've been doing. You make sure the customer is satisfied with the product that you put out there, and they're gonna keep coming back. You know what I mean? As long as you're doing what you need to do, they're gonna come back. In sports, if you keep winning, they'll keep coming. Unless you got those loyal fans like the Jets who ain't win a game, but they had a decent amount of people at MetLife Stadium today. You see what I'm saying? But those that constantly win, like you see Philadelphia, they'll keep coming. Kansas City Chief fans, they keep coming. Uh, the Dallas Cowboys, they keep coming. They fill it out. They like the product that's being produced out there, so they're gonna keep coming. And that's all you need to do. If you put that in real life, as you just said, they people gonna complain about it. They asked you they probably was asking who you was. Yeah, they would ask that because you came through. You took the place by storm, and they didn't know who you was, and you did a good amount of sales. So now they're gonna be upset. They're gonna be upset. That's just like a brand new quarterback, right? I'm talking about the 49ers because Mac Jones. He started out in New England. He replaced Tom Brady. They got him out of there. Now he's in San Francisco. He's 4-1 playing football. And they're like, wait, who's Mac? I heard of Mac Jones, but we saw what he did over there. Sam Darnold. We saw what he did with the Jets. Nah, we don't want him, but now he's looking good. Baker Mayfield. We ain't like what he did in Cleveland. But you become confident in yourself, and you start putting that confidence on display, and it starts working in your favor. They're gonna come looking for you. You know what I mean? They're gonna come in. The wins is gonna pile up. People gonna start scouting you. We gotta make sure he don't do this. He don't get comfortable here. I appreciate you, Score. You know, and that's the thing. When you go out there with the confidence, when you go out there knowing that you're gonna put your best foot forward, and then you start enjoying what you're doing at the same time, that's gonna make it fun and easier for you. And when it's fun and easy, I promise you, victories will come right behind those things. You know what I mean? Like I said, you got Daniel Jones in Indianapolis. They wrote him off like he's a bust. He's not doing nothing. He's 6-1. And to be honest, I'm still waiting for him to have a backslide, like the backslide to his old ways. But right now, they talking about he might be a it's still early. We heading towards week 8, so it's pretty much the halfway mark of the season. But they may be talking about him being an MVP candidate. Him, Baker Mayfield, people that two guys that was written off. Now they talking about they may be possible MVP candidates. Why? Because they got into a situation to where it suits them, and they got so comfortable in it, and they gained so much more confidence in themselves that their teams are respectfully 6-1 the Colts, 5-1 the Bucks. They got a game. They'll play Detroit tomorrow, and Jared Goff. He might be one of the a candidate for MVP again. So this is what I'm saying. And he's a cast off. He was a number 2 draft pick. He went from the Los Angeles Rams. He took the Rams to the Super Bowl, and now he's over here in Detroit looking like an MVP. Even though they lost to the Patriots, but with that 13-3 Super Bowl before Matthew Stafford came back. He's another one that was a number 1 draft pick, played with Detroit for so long, got traded to the Rams and won them a Super Bowl. And these are, I'm trying, I try score. And this is what I'm saying. When you do stuff that you love to do, it's not a job. It's just something that if you love it, it becomes fun. And when it becomes fun, it's just something that it may even feel like a hobby to some people, right? Because you see there's people that still playing these sports. Like I said, LeBron, 23 years. Kyle Lowry, he got 20 years. Chris Paul, he's heading towards 20 years. These guys, they love what they do. They love it so much they don't even want to leave it. They may not even know what to do with themselves after the season. After the season's over, after their career's over, they may not know what to do with themselves. A lot of people just stay within the sport to, be around it because that's what their normalcy is. They want to be around things like that. Tom Brady played on there 20 years, 20 plus years. He's in the booth calling football games, even though he's a part owner of a team. He wants to be around that because that's all he knew for all of his life. His adult life, he was playing in the NFL. He came from Michigan. He was from California. This is what these guys do. They want to be around something that they admire. They don't care if they just in the vicinity going back to visit sometimes. That's what they do. So yeah, that's what people that love what they do, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna continuously try to stay in that surrounding, that atmosphere to where, I love doing this. That's what they do. Score, because you was in the same thing. You love to make material, make hats, things like that. You love knitting and stuff like that. And now you went out there and you may have hurt some people's feelings because you did what you did and people like your material. So, but you enjoy doing that stuff. You say it yourself. There's some things that you would rather not do. It ain't that because you love to do that. You see what I'm saying? And that's what happens when you put that real life situation into a sporting situation, because that's real life for some of these guys too. They don't want to step away from the game. Like we all saying, well, when is LeBron going to retire? But he's playing great basketball. He's still giving you 25 points a game, 22 points a game. So why would he step away? He's still effective. It's not like he's coming off the bench to give you 5 points, 6 points, or 7. That's what I'm saying, Scorp. When you really having fun, you want to continuously have fun. So now you're probably in the back cave right now. Let me see what else I can make. If I made this hat, let me see if I can make a t-shirt to go with the hat, or a sweater to go with yeah. And you getting paid for having fun. Who wants to step away from that? You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. When you getting paid, well, I ain't trying to count your pockets, but it's safe to say you ain't making what the professional athletes is paying or making, right? So if they giving you $50 million to sit on the bench, the help a player in your position get better, you gonna go, right? If they giving you $100 million to put on a uniform and go give them 25 points for a season, you're gonna go because you love to do it and you're getting paid to do it. So you're gonna go. So, like I said, this is what a lot of these guys do. And even the WNBA players, they may not get as much, but they love doing what they do, right? They may be asking for more money, but what do? They go. Some of them go overseas. Now that they started this unrivaled league, they wait. They go over here and play 3-on-3 basketball and turn that into a second sport after the WNBA. They have fun. They have all-star games and 3-point shootouts. My 33 brother, what up though? Check your gram if you want to do it. You know what I mean? But when you have those situations, when you enjoy a thing that you do and you getting paid, like I said, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be a winner when those situations occur, right? So, as I'm happy for you, Scorp, as you did what you needed to do at the thing, I still gotta find that video. When I find it, I'm putting a comment in for you and everything. Word, you going live tonight? Um, you know, but we're going back into what we saw tonight or what we saw today. We saw big wins by the 49ers. We saw a good win for the Rams. We saw an unbelievable comeback by the Denver Broncos. Like I said, if you was looking at that, if you saw that game or you saw the score in that game, you probably read them off with 5 minutes to go. It was 28. What was it? 28-6 or something like that. 28-6. Yeah, because they scored 28-8 or 26-8, some crazy score. Oh, okay. Um, so when you look at things like that, when you see games like that, we saw the Rams. They went to London and put on a slight show. Uh, the Eagles took care of business against the Vikings. Uh, you know, when you go through situations, when you see things like that, when you see people giving it their all, hey, when you get good games like that, it's like um you go ahead and do what you do. That's like I said, I'm telling you, that's when the victories come up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. It's baseball, it's football, it's basketball. When you love doing what you do and you become great at it, you know what I mean? The sky's the limit. Now, of course, you need them people that's going to help you become even better. Shout out to the 9%. The show is brought to you by the 9%. A better you is a better us. You know what I mean? But at the same time, when you have people around you that's going to help elevate you to become a better version of yourself, become a Aaron Judge or become a Patrick Mahomes or become a Shane Gilded Alexander, people like that. When you have that team camaraderie, that means people gonna back you. You gonna back them, and 9 times out of 10, a championship will be formed behind that. We're not saying that it's going to be a dynasty, but you will get further when you got people working with you and not against you. You know what I'm saying? So, um, it was like I said, it was a good day of football. Uh, I mean, it was unbelievable. But like I said, tomorrow night we'll be talking about the Detroit Lions and Tampa Bay Bucks, and we'll be talking about the Seahawks versus Texans. We'll be talking about what happened on Monday Night Raw. We like I said, we follow Monday Night Raw as well. We'll go into that situation. We're gonna see what happens with division. We'll probably hear from them tomorrow. We'll probably hear from the Usos, Jimmy and Jay. We're gonna hear it's something very crazy is getting ready to happen on Monday Night Raw. They're gonna really have that conversation about it. We will be here to have that conversation with it. We will review that as well as like I said, Monday Night Football. Talk about basketball the day before it. Uh, but that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? Shout out to those that are here. Shout out to my sponsor, the 9%. Like I said, they brought me up here, so because they feel a better me is a better them. So we gonna rock out together. Shout out to the 9% once again, and my 33 brother himself. We're gonna do what we need to do, but we will be back tomorrow within the 23 hours. We'll be back at 11:30 to have these conversations. I appreciate everybody being here. Scorp, Word, uh, who else we had? We had a couple new people here. Oh, Realist. Shout out to Realist, Jaden Watts, and Maya Harrell. We appreciate everybody coming through. Like I said, let me get to this last comment. I don't know what this is. Yeah, with that being said, from the Channel 9 studio, this is Mr. 33 signing off. I'll see y'all in 23 hours. I'm out.